Welcome, everyone, to the newest episode of Reels Movie Podcast. This is an uncensored movie review podcast. I am your host, Z. And today we are covering Beach Bum. What is Beach Bum? You haven't heard of it? Well, take a look.
Give me a Lucky Lotto and a cigar, would you?
Sure.
You don't sell acid, do you?
No.
That's too bad, man. I write poetry. I like to have fun, man.
Moondogs from another dimension.
Moondog? You look like shit.
I look like I always look.
What is wrong with you?
I'm fine. Life's a fucking rodeo. I'm gonna suck the nectar out of it and fuck a raw dog till the wheels come off.
This is the first movie Korine has directed since 2012 Spring Breakers. He also directed Gummo, and he even wrote Kids from back in the 90s, which is a very underrated movie. Beach Bum stars Matthew McConaughey as Moondog, pretty much best known. Matthew McConaughey has been in so many movies. Dallas Buyers Club, where he won an Academy Award. Interstellar with Christopher Nolan. Magic Mike. Ghosts of Girlfriend's Past. He has a huge list of movies. He's very well known, very popular, especially with the ladies. But he's a very good actor. You also have Isla Fisher as Minnie. She's primarily best known probably from Wedding Crashers as Vince Vaughn's hookup. And she was also in last year's Tag. You have Snoop Dogg as Lingerie. You know, Snoop Dogg's world-renowned rapper. He had a brief role in Training Day. Also starred in Soul Plane and Bones. Zac Efron as Flicker. Started his career in High School Musical. Then went on to movies like Neighbors and Baywatch. Jonah Hill as Lewis. Started off as Superbad. Moneyball. This Is the End. Sausage Party. The How to Train Your Dragon series. You know, he's starting to make a huge name for himself. Rounding out the cast is Martin Lawrence as Captain Whack. Martin's known from the TV show Martin. He was in Big Mama's House, the series, and he was in Bad Boys 1 and 2. So what exactly is Beach Bum? After watching this, I still have no idea what this movie is about. You have Moondog, he's this genius poet, and he's trying to write the great American novel. He lives in the Florida Keys, he drinks, smokes cigarettes, weed, and has sex with pretty much any woman around. His wife is in Miami, Minnie. She's cheating on Moondog with his friend Lingerie. They're getting prepared for their daughter Heather's wedding, and she's asking him to come down, and he finally comes down, and they have this big, huge wedding. Moondog shows up, just rolling as some old lady in a wheelchair off the stage. Lingerie is performing the ceremony. Not your normal wedding, but for obviously Beach Bum and his how do you say it? Crew, they have a crazy wedding. Moondog sees his wife and Lingerie making out, and he doesn't say anything. He kind of just falls in the pool, swimming, and he kind of comes up and takes a hit of his joint, dances with his daughter, then he leaves. His wife finds him at this bar, and she says she wants to go driving. They go out. We see a little montage of them smoking, drinking, dancing, singing, pretty much different locations throughout. Minnie is driving. They get into a head-on collision. They're taken to the hospital. Moondog, besides some scratches and everything on his face, he's okay. Minnie dies, undisclosed injuries. Minnie's lawyer says that Moondog won't get any of her money, which is $50 million. She has a big family estate. That said, why Moondog actually has money from his previous poetry works. Moondog had no idea she even had a will, but Minnie thought that he would just blow it, so he has to earn the money. Heather got the other half of the fortune. He asks her for help. She says no because he'll keep coming back, asking for more. So Moondog loses everything, this massive mansion, cars, anything he needs, he loses, and he has to earn back by finishing his novel. So he does stuff on his own. He sleeps anywhere and everywhere. He makes friends with a bunch of homeless guys. They go to his house, destroy his piano, they rip up pillows, they just party all over the place. The cops arrive and arrest all of them. Moondog appears in court, and the judge is a fan of his work. The judge gives him an option of jail or rehab for a year. He chooses rehab while suggesting some fancy one that obviously he can get a blowjob and everything. The judge quickly dismisses it, and Moondog chooses rehab. His daughter takes him to rehab, and he's asking for one last beer to celebrate the moment, which she lets him, which surprised me. She seems like she has like a good head on her shoulders. They're at the store, and this is probably the funniest moment in the movie. He's at the counter, he buys his beer, and I think cigarettes as well, and he asks if they sell acid, and the clerk's like just looks at him and go, no. I thought that was a hilarious moment, probably one of the funniest moments of the movie. While Moondog's at rehab, we meet Flicker, who loves to set things on fire. His dad set him there to rehab to fix himself. He's constantly hitting off his vape. Moondog and Flicker instantly bond. They become friends. They break out of rehab and they hit the bars, hitting on women, making out with women, smoking, drinking. Flicker knocks out some guy on a rascal, some older man, with a beer bottle and steals his money. Then all of a sudden they're on a boat with girls, and I don't understand how they had enough money for a boat, but yeah. Flicker falls in love with this girl who actually might be a guy because she had like this really, really deep voice. Moondog says he's going to leave Flicker, and then he meets up with his friend Captain Whack. Captain Whack, former military, now he gives dolphin tours in the ocean. He's so successful, he has 2 boats. But the crappiest car you can imagine. It's the crappiest car you can imagine. Moondog joins him on a tour with some crazy family that sings their name. I didn't understand it. So they're in the ocean. Wax saying, "Oh, look, there's dolphins." And you see the fins. And he's trying to get the family to go in there, and they're like, "No, we're good." Whack kind of makes fun of him. He jumps in the water, starts swimming with them, and then the mom of the family says, "That's not a dolphin fin." And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this huge shark grabs, and it looks like he ate Whack, but realistically, he bit his foot off. Moondog handing Whack his foot, and that's the last we saw of Whack. Moondog goes and meets Lingerie and parties with him. The cops are still looking for Moondog, and they start heading towards Lingerie's place. Lingerie grabs all his marijuana stash, like bundles. It's undisclosed amount, but it's bundles. Like he had this massive thing in the basement of his place from Jamaica, which is like tall as a Christmas tree. Lingerie says gotta grab the seaplane, so he throws Moondog in a stash of weed on the seaplane, and Lingerie's friend or musician, yeah, no, he plays like these drums, these island drums. Who's a 90% blind man with glaucoma. He smokes this biggest joint you can imagine. He flies the plane, they land, Moondog celebrates his return with some of the people he knows. After some time, he finally completes his novel, and he wins the Pulitzer Prize. Heather is proud of Moondog, and she unfreezes his half of his inheritance. So now he gets $50 million. He demands it from the lawyer. He wants $50 million in cash and brought to him to the Keys. Moondog wants to have this big, extravagant event. So he buys some fireworks, and he has some armed guards on the boat. He, pays the guards, and they leave, and he's on the boat while fireworks are going all over the place. And he sets the boat on fire with the cash. Then all of a sudden, the boat explodes. Cash is flying in the air. The people on the shore are just grabbing any the cash they can get. So we think they're probably thinking Moondog probably died, but all of a sudden we just see Moondog in this little boat, which is his. It says Moondog on it. And he's holding this cat that he found in the beginning, like this little white cat he kept down in Key West and his housekeeper took care of, that he carries around. He carried around everywhere in Key West. So we just see him on the boat with the cat, and he's just laughing, driving off into the sunset, just floating around. And that's it. That is the end of Beach Bum. Are you confused like I am? Realistically, I have to give this movie an F. This movie has no story. It has a story. I'm not gonna lie. It does have a story. Moondog has to earn the inheritance from his wife by completing his novel. That's the story. But it's so small. It's like there is no story to this movie. The movie is driven off Matthew McConaughey's acting. It's like back in the day. I want to say maybe mid 2000s. McConaughey was arrested for smoking weed and he was playing bongos naked or something like that. And this is kind of how I pictured him back in those days. So it's like a camera just followed him around and they just said, you know what? Do what you would do back in the day. Even though McConaughey was hilarious and great as Moondog, he is seriously the best part of this whole movie. It can't save it. It honestly cannot save this movie. Just like Spring Breakers, Harmony Korine does the exact same thing. He's scene jumps. You have two characters talking about one thing, and then all of a sudden they jump and they're a different location talking about the same thing. Jump to back to the previous scene, but they're sitting differently or positioned differently, and then back. It just floats back and forth, back and forth. It's annoying and it distracts you from what's going on in the scene. Corinne hasn't. This is his first movie since Spring Breakers, so obviously a 7-year gap. And he did the exact same thing in Spring Breakers as he did here. Spring Breakers was a mess of a movie, and Beach Bum is the exact same. If you were a fan of Spring Breakers, I know many people were, you're gonna like Beach Bum because it's the exact same formula. But if you did not like Spring Breakers, you will not like this movie one bit. If you're a casual moviegoer, this isn't for you, and I would avoid it at all costs. Well, that's it for this review of Beach Bum. Thank you for checking out Reels Movie Podcast. Remember, leave a comment below. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe. Hit the ring bell for notifications. Then you'll never miss an upcoming episode of Reels Movie Podcast. I'll see you later.